31 lengths. That's not a horse race, that's a demolition. In 1973, a red chestnut colt didn't just win the Belmont Stakes, he obliterated the concept of what was physically possible. But Secretariat's miracle was just one chapter in a 158-year saga that's drenched in blood, sweat, millions of dollars, and enough drama to make Hollywood weep. This is Belmont Park, where Triple Crown dreams go to die or become immortal. Every June, the world's most expensive athletes gather on 1.5 miles of dirt that has broken more hearts than any racetrack on Earth. Welcome to the Test of Champions, where legends are born and fortunes are lost in under 3 minutes. From a millionaire's backyard hobby in 1867 to a billion-dollar empire that stops nations, this is how Belmont Stakes conquered the world. 3 horses changed everything. 3 Arabian stallions whose blood still courses through every champion today. But here's what they don't tell you. Behind every victory lies scandal, controversy, and secrets that would shock you. This track has witnessed 13 Triple Crown victories, hundreds of heartbreaks, and moments so dramatic they redefined the word impossible. August Belmont Sr. had a vision in 1867. He couldn't have imagined it would create the most brutal test in all of sports. 1.5 miles. That's all that separates ordinary horses from legends. That's all that stands between Triple Crown glory and devastating failure. The purse today? $1.5 million. But the real prize? Immortality. In the next 30 minutes, you'll discover why Belmont Stakes isn't just a horse race. It's the ultimate human drama played out at 40 miles per hour. From Ruthless to Justify, from heartbreak to triumph, from million-dollar scandals to genetic miracles. This is the complete story. Warning: this story contains scenes of devastating defeat, miraculous victory, and moments that will give you goosebumps. Every champion you'll meet today carries the DNA of 3 desert warriors who arrived in England 300 years ago. Belmont Park has seen 13 Triple Crown winners and 47 devastating near misses that haunt racing forever. This is where American Pharoah ended a 37-year drought, where California Chrome's dreams died, where Justify proved miracles still happen. Buckle up. The next 30 minutes will take you on the wildest ride in sports history. This is Belmont Stakes. And here's the thing that will blow your mind. Every single champion we're about to meet, every legendary moment that's coming, every heart-stopping finish that changed racing forever, it all traces back to just 3 horses. 3 Arabian stallions who arrived in England centuries ago with fire in their blood and speed in their DNA. That genetic lightning bolt still strikes at Belmont Park today. So remember this as we dive into 158 years of glory. You're not just watching horses race. You're watching living, breathing descendants of desert legends chase immortality at 40 miles per hour. Before we gallop through the greatest moments in racing history, let me paint you a picture. It's June at Belmont Park. 90,000 people are on their feet. The roar is deafening. A Triple Crown hangs in the balance. And in that moment, as the gates explode open, you realize you're witnessing more than a race. You're watching the intersection of human dreams, animal greatness, and raw, unbridled ambition. That's the magic we're about to explore. That's the legacy of Belmont Stakes. Picture this. It's 1867. And America is healing from Civil War wounds. But August Belmont Sr., a wealthy financier with German blood and American dreams, has a vision that will outlast any political conflict. He sees horses. Not just any horses, the fastest, most magnificent creatures on Earth, racing for glory on American soil. The first Belmont Stakes wasn't run at Belmont Park. It was held at Jerome Park in the Bronx, and the winner was a bay colt named Ruthless. How perfect is that name for what would become the most ruthless test in racing? Ruthless won $1,850 that day. Today's winner takes home $800,000, but the real prize remains unchanged: immortality. But Belmont Sr. wasn't just creating a race, he was architecting a dynasty. By 1905, the stakes had outgrown Jerome Park and needed a cathedral worthy of its growing legend. Enter Belmont Park in Elmont, New York, 1,400 acres of racing paradise that would become the ultimate proving ground. When Belmont Park opened in 1905, it wasn't just a racetrack, it was a statement. The grandstand could hold 30,000 spectators, making it larger than most cities. The track itself was revolutionary: 1.5 miles of perfectly banked dirt that would test every fiber of equine muscle and willpower. The early champions were legends in silk: Colin, the undefeated wonder; Sisonby, whose speed defied physics; and Man O' War's predecessor heroes who laid the foundation for what was coming. Racing was becoming America's sport, and Belmont Stakes was its crown jewel. But here's what separated Belmont from every other race: the distance. While the Kentucky Derby ran 1.25 miles and the Preakness 1.1875 miles, Belmont demanded the full 1.5-mile test. This wasn't just about speed. This was about heart, courage, and the mysterious quality that separates champions from also-rans. Then came the earthquake that changed everything. Man O' War burst onto the scene in 1920 like a red comet. Though he never ran in the Belmont Stakes due to a scheduling conflict, his presence loomed over every race that followed. This was the horse that made America fall in love with racing, and his genetic legacy would dominate Belmont for decades. The 1930s brought the first modern Triple Crown champion to Belmont: Gallant Fox in 1930, followed by Omaha in 1935. But it was War Admiral in 1937 who truly captured hearts, setting up the most famous rivalry in racing history against Seabiscuit. Though their legendary match race was at Pimlico, their shadows fell across every Belmont Stakes that followed. Citation arrived in 1948, like destiny itself, completing the Triple Crown with such authority that he redefined what greatness looked like. The big bay horse didn't just win, he conquered, earning over $1 million in career earnings when that was an impossible sum. The war years had interrupted racing, but they couldn't stop the momentum. Radio broadcasts brought Belmont into American homes, creating a shared national experience around these 3 minutes of thunder. Television changed everything. Suddenly, Belmont Stakes wasn't just for the elite crowds at the track, it was for every American with a TV set. The drama, the pageantry, the sheer athletic poetry of these magnificent animals became a cultural phenomenon. The 1950s and 60s saw champions like Native Dancer, the Grey Ghost of Sagamore, whose televised performances made him America's first equine TV star. Bold Ruler dominated breeding sheds, producing champions whose bloodlines still rule today. But the stage was being set for something unprecedented. The genetic lottery was aligning. Bold Ruler's son, Secretariat, was coming, and he would rewrite the laws of physics at Belmont Park. The purses were growing, $100,000, then $200,000. But more than money was at stake. This was about national pride, about pushing the boundaries of what horses and humans could achieve together. June 9th, 1973. If you weren't alive to witness it, you can't understand. If you were, you'll never forget it. Secretariat entered the Belmont Stakes, having won the Kentucky Derby and Preakness. The Triple Crown hadn't been won since Citation in 1948. 25 years of heartbreak and near misses had America holding its breath. But what happened next defied everything anyone thought they knew about horses, racing, or the laws of physics. Secretariat didn't just win the Belmont Stakes. He destroyed the concept of competition itself. By the half-mile pole, he was in front. By the three-quarter pole, he was alone. By the stretch, he was in a different dimension. The margin of victory? 31 lengths. 31. In human terms, that's like winning the Boston Marathon by 2 miles. The time? 2:24 flat. A record that still stands today, nearly 50 years later. Scientists studied that performance for decades, trying to understand how it was physically possible. The answer? It wasn't supposed to be. Secretariat's heart was later found to weigh 22 pounds, nearly twice the size of a normal Thoroughbred's. He wasn't just a great racehorse, he was a genetic miracle, wrapped in a red coat, and Belmont Park was his Sistine Chapel. After Secretariat, America waited, and waited, and waited some more. Seattle Slew arrived in 1977, an unknown black colt who captured the Triple Crown as racing's ultimate underdog story. Then, affirmed in 1978, surviving the most brutal Triple Crown campaign in history against his nemesis rival in a trilogy that redefined rivalry itself. But then, silence. 37 years of heartbreak stretched ahead. Champions would arrive at Belmont with 2 legs of the Triple Crown complete, only to find that 1.5 miles broke their dreams like surf against rocks. Sunday Silence in 1989, defeated by Easy Goer in a stretch duel for the ages. Silver Charm in 1997, lost by a heartbreaking head to Touch Gold. Real Quiet in 1998, caught in the final strides by Victory Gallop. The near misses became their own terrible legend. California Chrome in 2014 carried the hopes of a nation, only to fade in the stretch while America's heart broke again. 37 years. 37 years of waiting, hoping, believing and watching dreams die on 1.5 miles of dirt. Then came Salvation, wearing brown and white silks. American Pharoah wasn't the biggest or the strongest Triple Crown contender, but he had something that transcended physical gifts, an indomitable will to win, and the genetic fire of champions flowing through his veins. June 6, 2015. Belmont Park, packed with 90,000 believers and skeptics. As the field thundered into the stretch, American Pharoah seized the lead and began pulling away. Not with Secretariat's explosive dominance, but with the steady, relentless determination of a true champion. When he crossed the finish line 5.5 lengths in front, America erupted. The drought was over. The Triple Crown lived again. Grown men wept openly. The horses' connections celebrated like they'd just won the lottery, which in a sense, they had. American Pharoah proved that miracles weren't extinct, that the magic of racing could still stop a nation in its tracks. Just 3 years later, lightning struck twice. Justify arrived at the 2018 Belmont Stakes as racing's newest sensation, an undefeated giant who'd won the Kentucky Derby and Preakness with authority. But Belmont Park was waiting with its usual test. Could he handle the distance when it mattered most? Racing through mud and mist, Justify answered every question with the finality of greatness. He won by 1.75 lengths, becoming just the 13th Triple Crown winner and proving that the modern era could produce champions worthy of racing's golden age. 2 Triple Crowns in 4 years after a 37-year drought. The racing gods were smiling again. Behind every champion stands a genetic revolution that began centuries ago. The 3 foundation sires, Byerly Turk, Darley Arabian, and Godolphin Arabian, created the template, but American breeding refined it into something unprecedented. Bold Ruler's line produced Secretariat. Seattle Slew founded his own dynasty. Northern Dancer revolutionized breeding worldwide. Today's champions carry DNA that connects them directly to those original desert warriors, but refined through generations of selective breeding that borders on art. The science is staggering. Over 95% of modern thoroughbreds trace their male lineage back to the Darley Arabian through Eclipse, the undefeated 18th century phenomenon. Every champion at Belmont carries this genetic lightning bolt. What began as August Belmont Sr.'s passion project has evolved into a billion-dollar empire. The 2024 Belmont Stakes carried a $1.5 million purse, but that's just the beginning. Television rights, international betting, breeding rights for winners. The economic impact reaches every corner of the racing world. Breeding operations in Kentucky, New York, and Florida produce thousands of foals annually, each one dreaming of Belmont glory. Yearling sales see horses sell for millions based on bloodlines that trace back to Belmont champions. The New York Racing Association operates Belmont Park as the crown jewel of American racing, hosting not just the stakes, but dozens of graded stakes races that determine champions and breeding values worldwide. Belmont Stakes transcends sport. Its fashion, tradition, and social spectacle rolled into 3 minutes of thunder. The Belmont Jewel crown of white carnations has become as iconic as any championship trophy in sports, from Frank Sinatra crooning in the winner's circle to celebrities making the stakes a must-attend social event. Belmont has woven itself into American culture. Movies, books, and documentaries have immortalized its greatest moments. The traditions endure. The paddock inspections, the post-parade, the calling of the field. They're off. At Belmont Park still sends chills down the spine of racing fans worldwide. But Belmont's history isn't all glory. Doping scandals have tainted victories. The 2021 Kentucky Derby winner, Medina Spirit, tested positive for a banned substance, casting shadows over modern racing's integrity. Safety concerns have forced track modifications and medication reforms. The Horse Racing Integrity and Safety Authority, HSA, now oversees anti-doping efforts with federal authority, ensuring that future champions win through talent, not chemistry. Gambling controversies, fixed races in racing's early days, and ownership disputes have all left scars on Belmont's legacy. But the track endures, its integrity ultimately defined by the horses who've given everything on its sacred dirt. Belmont Stakes attracts global attention because excellence recognizes no borders. European-bred horses have won the stakes. International jockeys have guided champions to victory. The breeding revolution is now global, with top stallions shuttling between hemispheres. Japanese racing has emerged as a powerhouse, with horses like Deep Impact proving that American racing faces new global competition. The Dubai World Cup offers purses that dwarf traditional stakes. But Belmont Stakes retains its unique position. It's not about money, it's about immortality. Modern training methods have revolutionized how horses prepare for Belmont's grueling test. Heart rate monitors, GPS tracking, biomechanical analysis. Today's champions are athletes in the truest sense. Their training as scientific as any human Olympic preparation. Nutrition science has optimized every aspect of equine performance. Veterinary advances mean horses recover faster and compete longer. But the fundamental challenge remains unchanged. 1.5 miles of dirt that separates pretenders from champions. Genetic research reveals the narrow gene pool of modern thoroughbreds, raising questions about long-term breed sustainability. But it also explains why certain bloodlines consistently produce champions. They carry the concentrated essence of centuries of selective breeding. For every champion, dozens have fallen short. The Belmont Stakes has broken more dreams than any race in America, creating its own tragic pantheon of near misses. Pharoah never got the chance. The Australian legend died mysteriously before challenging American champions. Native dancer lost only once, in the Kentucky Derby, but never got to attempt the Triple Crown. Dr. Pharoah was brilliant, but never Triple Crown eligible due to scheduling. The modern era added its own heartbreaks. Spectacular Bid, 1979, Pleasant Colony, 1981, Alysheba, 1987, Sunday Silence, 1989, Silver Charm, 1997, Real Quiet, 1998, Charismatic, 1999, Funny Side, 2003, Smarty Jones, 2004, Big Brown, 2008, I'll Have Another, 2012, California Chrome, 2014. Each carried the hopes of a nation only to discover that Belmont Park guards its secrets jealously. Behind every champion stands a jockey who made split-second decisions at 40 miles per hour with millions watching. Eddie Arcaro won 5 Belmont Stakes and 2 Triple Crowns. Ron Turcotte guided Secretariat to immortality. Steve Cawthon was just 18 when he won aboard Affirmed. Modern masters like Jerry Bailey, Mike Smith, and Victor Espinoza have written their names in Belmont lore. Each brought unique skills: Bailey's tactical brilliance, Smith's veteran savvy, Espinoza's fearless determination. The art of race riding at Belmont requires special skills, patience for the long distance, tactical awareness for positioning, and the courage to ask everything when it matters most. As we stand in 2025, Belmont Stakes faces new challenges and opportunities. Climate change affects racing schedules. Artificial intelligence analyzes bloodlines and training. Virtual reality brings fans closer to the action than ever before. But the fundamental appeal remains timeless. Magnificent animals and brave humans pushing the boundaries of what's possible. The genetic lightning that created Secretariat, American Pharoah, and Justify still courses through bloodlines waiting to be discovered. New champions are in training barns across America, dreaming of that June afternoon when they'll face the ultimate test. The next Triple Crown winner might be a yearling today, carrying the DNA of champions, but facing the eternal question, do they have the heart to conquer 1.5 miles of Belmont dirt? From Ruthless in 1867 to Justify in 2018, from August Belmont Sr.'s vision to today's billion-dollar spectacle, the Belmont Stakes represents something profound about human nature. Our need to witness greatness, to believe in miracles, to see ordinary flesh transformed into legend. Every June, As the field approaches the starting gate, we witness more than a horse race. We watch the intersection of genetics and dreams, science and magic, tradition and innovation. For 3 minutes, anything is possible. The champions we've celebrated today, Secretariat, American Pharoah, Justify, and dozens of others, achieved something beyond victory. They touched immortality. Their names will be spoken with reverence as long as humans love horses and competition. The track awaits the next legend. The genetic lottery continues spinning. And somewhere, a champion is being born who will carry forward this magnificent obsession we call the sport of kings. This is Belmont Stakes. This is where legends live forever. This is the test of champions.